How's it going, folks? Welcome back to Maya Sports Talk. This is episode 6 now, and today we're talking about my initial thoughts on the 2023 NBA All-Star Weekend. There's 4 events, so let's get right into it. So I'm not going to be talking about the Rising Stars or Celebrity Game because, the Celebrity Game is just kind of a novelty and a bit stupid in my opinion, and the Rising Stars, unfortunately, I didn't really get a chance to see. But I will be talking about the Skills Challenge, the 3-point and dunk contests, and the actual All-Star Game itself. So starting off with the Skills Challenge, which was the earliest of these 4 events. I'm just not a fan of this event whatsoever. I think it's kind of a joke. These players aren't even really trying, nor are these players even really skilled or considered some of the most skilled players in the NBA. Like, who considers Thanasis and I think it's Alex Antetokounmpo as skilled NBA players? One of them's not even in the NBA. Like Walker Kessler and Jordan Clarkson, like these are all average to slightly above average NBA players. Excluding Drew Holiday and Paulo Banchero. The rookies are good players, but they're still young. At this point, they're average, right? So, these players aren't really even trying. The shooting was horrific. It was laughable. Watching Jordan Clarkson walk through the little dribbling obstacle course was just, it summed up the event as a whole. Like, these players don't really care. The team format is stupid. It's unnecessary. It doesn't make sense. If you can't tell, I'm not a fan of this event whatsoever. I think like a couple years back when they did like the guards versus bigs, like tournament style, like relay or like race kind of thing, that was cool. But honestly, I think All-Star Weekend could kind of go without the NBA Skills Challenge as a whole. It's not really interesting. Not a fan. That's really all I gotta say about it. As for the 3-point contest, it was my favorite. It's my favorite All-Star competition. It was going into this All-Star Weekend, and it probably still was coming out of it. It's just the most classic, straightforward, and that makes it in a way the most competitive. Like, these players really care. These specialists who are actually good 3-point shooters, besides Julius Randle, unlike the people participating in the skill challenge who aren't actually the most skilled NBA players, these guys actually care about this title, and it's great to watch. And I was happy to watch that. It was a good competition. I'm really happy that it sucked that Clay and Steph weren't a part of it this year, but Damian Lillard winning it was awesome. Wearing the Weber State jersey, a huge Dame fan. So I think it was a great, another great 3-point contest. Should always be a part of All-Star Weekend, and I'd love to see Steph Curry and Klay Thompson back in it maybe next year or years to come. So nothing really to complain about there. As for the third event besides the All-Star Game, the dunk contest, I'd say it wasn't awful this year. I think I'm much more critical and harsh on the dunk contest than most people, because at this point, I feel like a lot of dunks have been done. To give these dunkers credit, it's very, very hard to be creative, to be novel, to come up with these like new ideas or skits for dunks. Like a lot has been seen and a lot has been imagined, or a lot that has been done you have to imagine new things, right? At this point, it's not even just a skill; it's like creativity as well. And that's hard. That's hard for these guys to do. It's hard to come up with, and of course, it's hard to execute. They're still amazing feats. As for the people who participated, Jericho Sims sucked. I thought all his dunks his 2 dunks were stupid. With like on one of them, he literally pulled himself up on the net. That's like someone who can't dunk trying to get the net to boost them the dunk. This time he was just trying to get his armpit in the net. So I thought he sucked. Kenyon Martin Jr. was all right. He was athletic. His first dunk was cool, but took a couple of tries, and it didn't even look like he really cared that much. And then Trey Murphy, like they were saying on the broadcast, he's 6'9". These dunks are a little less cool when he's doing them because he's already so tall. But the real hero of the dunk contest, as everyone was saying, Big Mac McClung, awesome showing. Honestly, all 4 of his dunks, besides the second one, which I think he was kind of just, He was saving his better ones for the final after that great first dunk. Besides the second one, all the other three, all great dunks, all awesome. Great story too. Like I remember watching him in high school, like his high school mixtapes, and his dunks were phenomenal. If you haven't seen them, you should go watch them. And then he struggled at Georgetown, which sucked, but he kind of found his way at Texas Tech and bounced around through the NBA and the G League. So it's cool that he got this moment, right? He seems like a really humble, really nice guy. So and he saved the dunk contest. I mean, his dunks were creative. His dunks were great. I mean, I think for the dunk contest to really be successful, the NBA has to start getting the actual best dunkers in the competition. Like they have gotten the actual best 3-point shooters into the 3-point contest. Like I know John Morant said he's not going to do it, but Ja would be awesome. Edwards would be awesome. Someone like John Collins, having Mac McClung come back. I mean, like Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, those are probably like the two greatest dunk contests I've seen in my lifetime. And it's because those two are legitimately the best dunkers, or were the best dunkers in the league. So I think having like these raw athletic guys that no one really cares about, like a Jericho Sims, who's had some nice dunks, or like a Trey Murphy or Kenyon Martin Jr., who've had their own nice dunks as well. Like having the actual considered best dunkers in the league come and do the dunk contest, that would be awesome. But yeah, I mean the dunk contest is a bit of hit or miss. It really depends on the players and their performances on that night. And I think this year it was fun to watch. It was actually a good dunk contest. But in the past, recently, I've been unimpressed. But hopefully this streak continues going on to 2024. So now we get to the probably most anticipated, the biggest event, the All-Star Game. And I just want to start off by saying I think it's time to say thank you and goodbye to this era of all-star captains and the captains picking their teams. I think it's just it's time to say goodbye. I mean, this in-person, like right before the game draft was kind of the last Hail Mary attempt to maybe keep this new tradition going of the highest vote getters picking their team. But it's just, in the end, it's just kind of unimportant in my opinion. It's irrelevant. There's not that many good moments that come about. I mean, I know recently resurfacing has been the KD passing up on James Harden to take Rudy Gobert, which is pretty funny. But besides that, I mean, it just doesn't add much to it. And I really think for the All-Star Game to actually be interesting and to make me want to watch, it has to mean something. And it can only really mean something if it goes back to the East versus West. And what I propose is for the winner, so if the East team wins, they would get the home court advantage in the finals, which is how it used to be, right? Because then they actually play for something. Like the game that happened tonight or this evening, it was just bad basketball. It was boring to watch. The plays aren't even that good. Like we've seen NBA players dunk, right? I mean, we've seen them hit deep threes. I'd say 1 out of every 20 plays is worth watching in the NBA. This last NBA All-Star Game, the rest are just bad defense. It's bad. It's honestly hard. It was boring to watch this year. So I mean, honestly, if next year it's the same thing where it's just the captains and there's nothing to play for, personally, I probably won't be watching. I'll probably watch the dunk contest, watch the 3-point contest, and turn off the TV. I mean, it just doesn't interest me. There's no good basketball to watch. These players clearly don't care. And I think it would benefit the NBA to go back to the East versus West format and go back even further to make the game actually mean something, to give this game a little more competitive spirit. Because like the new quarter by quarter format also isn't just really working out. It was just stupid. I mean, you had Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum take like 20 deep threes to try and win the game, and like it was just miss after miss after miss until Dame finally hit one. So yeah, I mean this year it was honestly a big waste of time watching the game. I thought All-Star Weekend in general was a bit of a letdown. Like I said, Skills Challenge was a joke. Dunk contest, besides Mac McClung, was pretty disappointing. I gotta say, Mac McClung completely saved the All-Star Weekend in general, not just the dunk contest. I mean, his dunks were great. His story was awesome. It was awesome seeing him introduce, who was it? He introduced someone tonight before the All-Star Game. Really cool guy. And I mean, the 3-point contest is awesome, classic. I love it. I love watching like Reggie Miller talk about it. It's so funny, and even I think Draymond Green was talking about it too. And it's a classic, and it's actually competitive, which is what makes it interesting, which is what makes it fun. These people actually care. Like the All Star game, they don't care, right? And so it's hard for the fans to care, at least in my opinion. So these are just my thoughts on the NBA All Star Weekend. This was the 2023 NBA All Star Weekend. So hopefully in 2024 we see some changes. Maybe NBA takes a step back and goes back to the East versus West format and can redeem that competitive spirit that we all want to see in these games. So thanks for watching this episode of My Sports Talk. I hope to see you in the next one.